What's going on, guys? This is the Chop It Up Show, and I'm Brandon Bryant.
This is John Henry, and on this show, we break down business and culture through an entrepreneurial lens. From $1 million deals to flipping kicks on StockX.
Let's go.
We cover your hustle, whatever that may be. And on this episode, first up, in case you missed it, Amazon pulled out of the New York City deal. Massive news.
Woo!
Can we get an alert? Massive. This has major implications for the New York City tech ecosystem. Brandon, what do you got for us?
Man, AOC is the new sheriff in town. Whoever the governor is and whoever the mayor is, no one gives a fuck. So, long story short, AOC runs America, and you know, a lot of people have been calling her the new Donald Trump, but on the left side, and to be honest, she probably is.
The key takeaway here is, remember, this is a business show, so Brandon and I like to look at the market objectively and withdraw from there. What are the key takeaways? And for me, the power of influence is undoubtedly the main takeaway here.
Personal brand.
This whole scenario. Okay. When you look at the situation by the numbers, Amazon stood to bring $27 billion of economic activity to New York City, right? In exchange, we gave them a $3 billion tax break. However, there was a small segment of the New York City population that was not with this for one reason or another. And they, my friends, let their voice be heard louder.
Extremely loud.
They influenced the decision. This had a ripple effect all the way up through to the politicians and eventually caused some rift and caused Amazon to pull out.
I'm a big fan of AOC, but it appears to me that not every single person here in New York City is a big fan of her. I just saw a billboard actually in Times Square talking about AOC, thanks for nothing. We lost 25,000 jobs and we lost $4 billion in revenue a year.
You heard our take on it. New York stood to gain so much and lost due to a very vocal group using their power of influence to essentially shape the decision in the way that they wanted. Now, we're not here taking a partisan stance. We're here only looking at it by the numbers. So I'm very curious, what do you think? Was this a net positive or a net negative for New York? Let us know. And also, what are your big takeaways from this? Because for me, it's actually mind-blowing that someone beat Jeff Bezos on anything. Bezos took an uncharacteristically a large amount of L's this week, super rare from him, and the stunning thing is who delivered the L's.
Yeah.
It's like the group you would at least expect.
True. In this, when I'm talking about personal branding, AOC has been able to overcome the most powerful government in the world, the most powerful company in the world, and the most powerful person in the world just because of her personal branding. And we have a segment here on Chop It Up called On the Rise where we talk about personal branding. And you know what? I think AOC could be a good candidate for that. And if you're watching AOC, we would love you on the show.
Give us a call.
Give us a call.
You know, she actually follows me on Instagram.
Does she?
Yeah.
We're one DM away.
We've DM'd.
One DM away.
I'm about to slide in there, you know.
All right.
All right, guys, Deal Talk. Here it is, my favorite segment. Now, look, I'm born and raised in New York. I'm a businessman. I'm not, however, that into sports, but I did hear that the New York Knicks are for sale, and that gets me interested.
It would be hard-pressed to find one single Knicks fan that doesn't wish that for their Christmas wish list that he would sell this team.
B, what do you got for that?
Man, the New York Knicks are for sale. They're the most valuable team in the NBA. They're valued at about $3.6 billion, but it looks like it's going to take $5 billion to take them down. How much money is that to you?
That's a whole lot of money. Now, the interesting thing to me is how are they possibly the most valuable franchise in the NBA and they're not close to being on a winning streak?
They are the worst team. They are tanking right now for Zion Williamson.
So let's break this down. How is a team valued? What are the major drivers to a franchise's valuation? And what are some interesting takeaways that you can apply to your business?
There are three major driving factors to the Knicks valuation. Number one is the market. The New York market is 1.5 billion of that valuation, huge. And all the CEOs and all the big organizations love to sit courtside at all these games at Madison Square Garden, which is number two. The venue, the arena, owning that, the most famous arena in all of the world, okay? And then lastly is the brand, the brand equity.
brand. I remember growing up in the 90s in New York and watching Allen Houston sink a buzzer beater. That kind of emotional attachment drives value for the brand. So while you may not be able to purchase an NBA franchise, there are some key insights that you can take away for your business. One, where you situate is so important. Two, the real estate that you own is tied to the value of the business. And three, gotta work on that brand, folks. All of that is more important collectively than your revenue.
Hey, can we get Zion now?
We
You know what
should,
I'm saying?
man. I'm
We're
ready for
tanking for him.
I want the Knicks to be good again. Imagine if they were good. What would their value be?
Wow.
Can I get some energy? Hey! All right, guys, for today's segment of On the Rise, we have a special guest and also the first ever in-studio guest.
Let's
It's gonna be a special episode. Please help me welcome Mick Batisky.
Yo! What up, boss?
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? If you don't know about Mick, then you clearly have been living under a rock.
And you have
Mick
not went outside your house.
Is an incredibly influential DJ. He DJs for everyone that you know and admire.
And now you.
And now me. He did. I'm on the list. I'm on the list. I feel special because I made the list. But in addition to DJing, Mick, you're also an investor in companies that have been acquired. So you're doing better than us, and we have a fund.
Right.
So, and also, you do a lot of speaking, so you're a multifaceted, multi-hyphenate kind of person.
Totally.
Welcome
Thank you.
to On the Rise segment.
Thrilled to be here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We cover on this segment specifically people with poppin'-ass personal brands.
Okay.
So we're gonna dissect it, pull it
Nice.
apart.
Maybe I can learn. Maybe I can learn.
You know, you learn something.
So I started as a DJ. I still am a DJ. I'm actually never going to stop DJing because it enables me to kind of create the opportunity and create the relationships and create like just that sort of like brand awareness that I need to do everything else, right? So it's just like you always hear the story of like athletes are in the league and they're doing all these things, and then you know like you watch like ballers and it's like the guy's like the retired used car salesman guy. Like, I never wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be the guy to figure everything out while I was still in the game. So I'm able to use DJing to kind of create all these other avenues and stuff. So that's another thing with like another basketball analogy, like why all these guys want to play for the Warriors. Yeah, they're going to win a ring, but they also have access to everything else while they're right there. So that's exactly what I'm using DJing for.
Right, so my takeaway is that you get your foot in the door by being a DJ, and then you're able to create a longer conversation, which ends up having like a longer tail on the revenue side, but also on the relationship side.
Yeah, and also on a personal fulfillment side too.
But so you have an audience, right? So I've met a million DJs, and they're all DJing fucking dive bars that no one's heard of. You're DJing Miguel's wedding, and for LeBron James, and for the Hustle premiere party.
Absolutely.
So did that just come from reps? Obviously it came from reps, but also what did you do different?
It's not just reps, because I'm a good DJ. Like I wouldn't be at this point in my life if I wasn't a good DJ. There's DJs that are way better than me. There's investors that would have way more analytical skills than you guys. There's TV hosts that have better skills than everything. And everybody in this building, you'll never hear them because they're in their basement and they never figure out how to get out of that basement, right? That's true with any skill, that's true with any job, that's true with any profession. For me, I realized a long time ago, instead of putting all that effort, and this kind of goes into what the topic we're going to talk about, instead of putting all that effort into the skill, I kind of learned this in college. Like I was the guy that would rather get a B and do everything else I wanted to do at my time versus get an A and have a really shitty life. Right. Basically, like it's not really about like the reps of what I do at this point. Like I'd rather be like a good DJ who has like a great life of putting together all the pieces versus just trying to be like the world's greatest DJ. Like you know when you're in college, you can spend all that time and get the A, right? And then have no life. Or if you're smart and you have a little bit of hustle, you can get the B, that strong 85, and then have like all these other things going on. And that's how I choose to approach my life.
Oh man, it's coasting at 85.
Coasting.
Hey man, 85 is way...
A soft 85 is not a bad
It's not, it's not.
All right, because you know, you graduate from Harvard, no one asked you like, did you get an A? Or if you even got a C, they said, did you graduate?
So I made a decision 5 years ago to pull myself out of DJing as the only aspect of my brand, and decided to use that as my, again, business generator situation to do everything else. What that actually did was create such a like a worldview of how people perceive me that it actually doubled what I was doing as a DJ.
Exactly.
And increased and enhanced all these other things that weren't even going on, just created all these other new amazing opportunities. And whereas I thought it was a calculated risk, like this could potentially take away from the DJ.
It could dilute your DJ.
Now I'm just not like the DJ guy. What it actually did was absolutely help, because now people just don't want somebody that's just a DJ. They don't want somebody that's just an entrepreneur. You have to be like an entrepreneur, an investor, have a TV show, and you have to be good on social. You got to be. We're talking about athletes. You got to be an athlete that invests, and you got to have a business, and you got to have a script in the works in Hollywood. You have to have all of those things for your personal brand to be like what it is. Two is you have to find those tools to work in concert with each other, right? So like if you're like a dinosaur scientist, a fireman, and a cupcake chef, that's just not going to work.
It's not.
Like, and that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. Like, oh, I want to, you have to find the things. Everything I do feeds into the other things.
Exactly.
It builds and it builds and it builds, and I'm grateful for that. And I can't take all the credit for that. Like, some of that was happenstance.
Yeah.
But once I figured out that that's how that works, like I've just made sure as I add things, let's make sure that they make sense.
Yeah, it's like different levers you can pull to just increase the entire pie.
Yeah.
So for anyone watching right now, if you're interested in growing your personal brand, Mick, I have a question for you. Sure. There are probably 107 people at least watching that want to know.
Prayers up.
Prayers. No, I'm just kidding.
We just lost 8 of them right now.
So there are people watching that want to know how to get paid for their personal brand. This is something that you do on the regular. What is your feedback to them for getting paid, even if it's not what our rates are right now?
Right.
How can they get paid at least for gig number 1? What's your perspective on that?
Be super, it's corny, be authentic though. Like be who, like, I don't mean being authentic is corny, I mean saying that, because everyone's like, oh, you can, there's a million like memes every day. And
well,
like,
I could be authentic and still not get paid. So how do you get paid?
Well, that's the first step. You have to like, your life has to be believable, or you can't really live it. The fake stuff is gonna, you're gonna hit that wall, and then you're not gonna be able to transcend. It'll be great, and then you're just gonna stop, because like, you know, what is the whole Cinderella turned into the pumpkin, whatever that whole Disney shit was, like, that's gonna happen to you. You don't want that to happen. I love the fact that all of us here happen to be here because we had put in all the time and all these things to get to that point. You get it. You get the spoils after you did the work.
Fruits of your labor later on.
Knowledge bomb.
Yes.
There you guys have it. On the rise with.
Let's
go.
Now we gotta do another episode.
On the rise with Mick Batiska.
Just say Mick.
Batisky.
Just say Mick. Yeah, it's fine.
All right, here we go.
That's his Instagram name. He's good. Thank you, Mick, for coming to the show. Appreciate you, brother. You're our first guest. Hopefully
Love.
many more.
That's love. And you guys already know the main takeaways from Mick is mix it up a little bit. Don't be one thing, be multifaceted.
You see that?
Okay? Add one game to the next so you can get your value up and command some paper. Now, we want to know who you guys want to have on the show next. Let us know who you think is on the rise. Drop it in the comments below. And as always, guys, keep it real. Keep it classy, San Diego. Until next time.
Peace. Yo, that was mad crazy.
That fell on this kid, bro.
And our thing just fell. But guys, tune in next week. Peace.
Oh, that wall just fell on some kid. You guys have workman's comp, right?
Oh, hell yeah, we gotta do the IG.
How crazy is that?